Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's November 15th, 2020. Here with my partner in crime, Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our show, a Sunday edition today.
Do we call it our Masters Special kind of
Masters Special, NFL Sunday, but glad to be back. And
Me too.
what would you like to open up with? You mentioned something about a golf tournament.
There's a golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia today, actually.
Yes.
And I got some thoughts on
Go
it.
ahead.
Dustin Johnson at 16 under goes into the opening round, and they're underway now.
They are.
So,
He was one of my guys that I said I didn't per se pick a winner.
I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, but
my guys aren't there either.
Well, I said Tiger was going to, probably
at least finish in the top 10.
Show up,
I think.
and obviously his first round didn't disappoint, but
Yep.
He's not going to win it.
Yep.
So, but Dustin, here we go again, and I would love for Dustin to win. Everybody knows I'm a big Dustin fan.
Me too. I'm starting to become more and more of a Dustin fan.
I just don't want to see a meltdown today.
A Greg Norman in 1996? Is that what you're talking about?
Well,
that's not going to happen.
That was one of my all-time favorite meltdowns, by the way.
Oh, God. Plunk in the water at 16 was like, you got to be
Great
kidding
white
me.
shark. Wah, 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 wah.
Yep.
Nah, but I hope Dustin pulls it off today.
I can't see anybody stopping him. He's that focused. It seems like he's really got his game going, but he wasn't even on my board because I just always thought that he had this thing that he couldn't close the deal, but he's going to close it today.
Well, like I said, I hope he does. And being at 16 under, I don't see any reason why today would be, get a case of the yips or anything, right? So
Yeah.
He is. He looks laser focused, and he just got to play his game, and everything should take care of itself.
But from a Masters in November perspective,
Yeah,
right?
I was going to ask that.
It's changed. It's way different. The cut line was 1 under. That means all of these guys were shooting under par at the Masters, which they were eating it alive. It was like a pitch and putt.
Right.
Waiting for the to put it into the elephant's trunk and the windmill and the whole 9 yards.
Yep. But it is what it is.
And hopefully today, Sunday at the Masters, it's been beautiful and sunny and so forth, and that's what makes the Masters the Masters. But I'm just perplexed by the fact that these guys have been eating this course up for lunch for 3 days now.
But from a visual standpoint, April or November, the grass and the greens look
Still spectacular.
identical.
Me too.
The foliage obviously is
No azaleas in bloom.
right. It's different, and you knew that going in, but the course itself,
Spectacular.
It's just so beautiful.
Golf heaven.
It is.
Right? Sunday at the Masters.
That's right.
Greatest 4 words in sports. No question.
Absolutely. So glad Dustin is playing well, and hopefully he continues.
Yep. But some young his kids lighting it up, young kids, but even amateurs are 4 under. 4 under for amateurs at the Masters.
Again, it's November. It's uncharted territory. I'm not surprised by any of these scores.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
But my guy, and I'll come out and mention it because I said I thought Colin Morikawa was going to be there. He didn't make the cut, but again, everybody makes the cut at the Masters this year.
Okay.
He's not in contention.
Your
Justin Rose was, your guy Justin Rose was in there for a while.
I did. I said that Justin Rose was probably, he was my pick. I had to pick somebody.
And Rory had some up and down, in the early stages, but he's in contention, but I don't think anyone's catching Dustin.
No. And your boy Ricky Fowler, of course, is not going to win his major today.
I didn't mention it, actually.
I understand, but it doesn't mean you weren't thinking it.
I was, and John Rahm and the whole 9 yards.
Well, John Rahm was right. He was in contention.
He had a pretty good shot in the par 3 tournament, right? Skipped it over over the water 5 times.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually.
One of the greatest shots. 5 billion to 1. It couldn't happen again.
Bing.
On his birthday, actually, no less.
Yeah.
But the Masters, it's been great. And listen, if Dustin Johnson gets the green jacket, I'll be delighted.
Absolutely.
Because he's a class act and he's been through a lot and
Yeah.
married to a good family, actually.
Very good.
Isn't he married into his father-in-law, Wayne Gretzky?
Sir Wayne Gretzky. Absolutely.
Right, how he's not a sir by now. You know? I don't know.
The French Order of Edmondson.
Well, let's see. We're going to see because it's early, right? The sun sets at 5:15, so the tournament should be over. The guys teed off at 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, it should have plenty of time. So
It's been awesome, and you're right. From a scenic perspective, the Masters doesn't disappoint. I'm just so shocked that these guys are eating this course for lunch. So, I mean,
I got it.
let's see what happens, right? They'll be putting the green jacket on at about, 4 p.m., I guess,
Yeah.
this afternoon?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Dustin will have a long sleeve jacket with that frame.
Yeah.
So let's see. Hopefully he pulls it off.
We're looking forward to it.
What else we got?
And listen, before we move on, our golf segment, of course, is sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Haverstraw, New York. His
Yes, it is.
guy himself is quite an established golfer. He's not Dustin Johnson, but he's a loyal supporter of the show. And, of course, we're talking about the Masters, and he's big into that, too.
Why, you think Dustin Johnson is tougher than Guy Coriano? Is that what you're saying? The pound-for-pound toughest football player ever to play at St. Joe's?
All right, we got to see Dustin Johnson with a neck collar on, right?
Exactly.
But thank you, Guy. And
Inside joke.
You got it. So let's move on, Steve.
Yeah.
Right, the Masters is the headline of today, but how about some college football?
Sure, I'd like to lead with I was wrong about the Irish last week.
You were.
We talked about Clemson, and again, I still stand by my statement that Clemson is
The best team in the
better
country.
team, but you got to give all the credit in the world. Thrilling game, high scoring, 47, 45, something like that. And, you tip your hat. So yesterday, Notre Dame. My point is, I was completely wrong on that. You actually gave Notre Dame more than a puncher's chance.
Not
So.
looking for kudos.
No.
You know.
But yesterday, Notre Dame back in action, and they played at Boston College.
And Boston College always gives them fits. You
Well,
know that.
that was
right?
the point. So what I remembered, I didn't even have to look it up. It was 1993 when Notre Dame beat Florida State. It was number one that year.
Okay.
Notre Dame ascends to number one, and who did they play the following week? It was Boston College. Coach Tom Coughlin was on the sidelines. And I believe Glenn Foley was the quarterback for Boston College.
Good.
Big trap, letdown game. Notre Dame gets upset by Boston College. So a lot of people asked me about that yesterday. Notre Dame was favored by 13.5. They went up covering they won by 14. But I took Notre Dame yesterday. I considered all that stuff, but I just think they're a pretty good team.
They are a good team.
And Boston College's quarterback, Phil Yurkovich, is a transfer from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And
Played well.
I enjoyed watching the game yesterday.
They held their own for a
They
while. You know. No fans, again, just
No.
cardboard cutouts and so forth. You know.
Yep. But good game. And then, Florida took care of business. They look like they're pretty good.
How about Kyle Trask for a
Yeah.
Heisman candidate?
Well,
here?
he's absolutely under consideration.
He's lighting it up, man. It's second time an SEC quarterback has ever thrown 6 touchdowns in the season. That's great.
So a friend of mine is a big anti-Gator fan, and for some reason he hates Dan Mullen. And I look at him and I say, "Excuse me, what has Dan Mullen done other than win everywhere he's gone?" And Dan Mullen was Urban Meyer's offensive coordinator at Florida with Tebow.
Urban disciple.
Right, so an urban tree guy, if you will.
Yep.
But he did a great job at Mississippi State, and he's back at Florida, and it's only taken him really 3 years to
Turn a program around.
get
That was-
Florida back to prominence where you expect them to, because Florida post-Urban was not Florida, you
Yep.
know. So
Well, Spurrier had some good good moments
Spurrier
there.
was pre-Urban. So anyway, Florida is in the mix, and Notre Dame is in the mix, and Ohio State.
Let's talk about who's not in the mix. The Wolverines of Michigan. Again,
Yeah.
took a pasting yesterday at home
Yep.
to the Wisconsin Badgers.
C.
Wow.
Couldn't be happier.
What does this mean? This means the end for Harbaugh, right? They say
Again, Harbaugh, we all know his resume. He's a Michigan guy and played for Bo and all that.
you know.
They owe him a ton of money. I can just see it being one of those quote unquote years with the COVID thing, and
Yeah, but he's working without a contract extension in place.
I'm just saying if Harbaugh wants to stay at Michigan, I don't see him being ousted by the alumni.
I do.
I'm not,
I do.
I'm not dismissing that.
I do.
It's viable. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
They're paying him a lot of money, and he's what 1-3 or 0-4. I mean,
and wait till Ohio State shows up. I swear they are going to.
you and I,
pound
Steve,
him.
we've talked about it. The Ryan Day wanting to lay 100 on Michigan because of his dislike for Harbaugh. It's quite possible. Not 100, I'm saying, but he's going to give him a licking to him.
Oh, 50's not out of the realm of possibility.
But the Big Ten is.
And I mean, the etiquette of football typically, right? But this is Michigan, Ohio State.
don't pile on.
Well, this can be an exception to the rule.
I agree. And the Big Ten is wild. I mean, Rutgers.
Hey, Indiana. I mean, let's talk about Indiana.
Got to be the Cinderella team of the
well,
season.
they actually are pretty good.
Maybe Coastal Carolina will give them a run
But
for
I'm
their
talking
money.
Big Ten. I can't remember. I don't even know if we ever have talked Indiana football being a top. They're a legit top 10 team this year.
Of course not. They were a basketball school.
I understand
and
that.
now
That's
it's
my
happening.
point.
You're right. Big time surprise.
Yeah. So
And Rutgers yesterday, after knocking off.
the Wolverines or Michigan State, the Spartans,
Yep.
who then beat Michigan, that type of thing.
Right. So the Big Ten is just wild. It's
So
awesome.
Rutgers, they're
And they lost to a winless Illinois team yesterday, but this is what you and I talked about.
lovey.
But the Big Ten is just, I
Yeah.
mean, you want to play with the big boys.
I'm not surprised Rutgers lost to Illinois.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think they had their moment. They the first game they beat Michigan State, and now they've fallen back to earth. So.
Yep. And look, the Pac-10 started playing football,
Yeah.
right? And again, with this COVID thing, it could wreak havoc. It's caused, major cancellations. Alabama game is
Alabama LSU postponed.
right? I mean, it's crazy. but it's
Again,
still
I'm
happening.
really not taking this college football season very seriously, to be honest with you.
Asterisk. Is that what you're saying? Complete asterisk.
We can come up with we can invent a sign for this one. Something in the colon family with a asterisk and a hashtag of some sort.
You got it.
But yeah, how can we can't possibly legitimize a national champion this year. We just
Look,
can't do it.
We legitimized the NBA and we legitimized Major League Baseball. So why is this any different? But
It is though.
I get it. But that
But I'm
was.
glad they're playing. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
And the Pac-10's just starting out, but this COVID's running rampant, and it's going to cause more cancellations and so forth. So it's going to be
not only
it's going to
running
be a
rampant.
factor.
There's talk even at work that things are going to shut down again soon.
Is that even possible?
It's-
I mean,
it's-
we
it's
were
more
talking
than,
about
it's
this.
more than possible. I mean, in New Jersey, obviously, restaurants and stuff are now limited with hours and things like that. And
Shut down by 10.
oh, please. And Thanksgiving is what, a week from Thursday?
And you can't have more than 10 people over. Who's going to enjoy my stuffing that I make
Yep.
if I can't have 10 people here?
I think the cops are here.
Well, what was that? That was a siren, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Freeze!
But anyway, so college football is underway, and it
You have 12 people in the house. You are surrounded.
go to the back of the house.
Lay the turkey down and then get on your stomach.
Put the baster down.
Exactly. Put the ladle down.
You can't make gravy. Are you kidding me? I can't make gravy. So listen, college football is hot and heavy, but how about high school football yesterday in New Jersey? And we've talked about this, and again, with an asterisk. Games are getting canceled. COVID's running rampant in
Yeah,
New
they're
Jersey
just
too.
playing, for our audience outside of New Jersey. We're thankful, for, again, our audience outside of the tri-state area here. Connecticut and New York, there is no high school football.
Yeah, they
completely
shut it
down from
They shut it down.
from August on.
Yep.
But New Jersey is allowing high school football, and there have been cases where games have been canceled and so on and so forth.
Yeah, schedule's a mess.
Right, but the
traditional state championships at the Meadowlands isn't happening.
No, it's not happening. But at least they've gotten in about 6 games in so far.
Yep.
And like you said, there's no quote unquote state champion. But again, we're privileged that our high school that we went to and played for is now a national power, as is 2-3 other teams in the area.
Yep.
We're talking Catholic.
You got it.
Catholic League, parochial.
Private schools.
But it's the best high school football. It's up there with Texas and Florida and California.
That's a big statement. It took us a long time to get there,
Right.
but we're there.
And a lot of guys now are making the NFL from these programs, and we're talking St. Joe's Montvale, Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, and DePaul.
St. Peter's.
St.
Peter's is the number one team in the state until somebody says otherwise.
Minka Fitzpatrick
What a player,
is a
by the way.
graduate of St. Peter's.
I watched him
to
play
give
in
you an
high school.
example.
Good player.
Oh, outstanding. Alabama and, now Pittsburgh Steelers. So, but the big news yesterday was the heavyweights went at it, Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic. And we were talking before the show where it's so evenly matched with these guys that St. Joe's, kind of beats up Bosco a couple weeks ago. St. Joe's got beat up
By Bergen
by
Catholic.
Bergen Catholic a month ago.
Yep.
And what happens? Bergen Catholic's favored to win this game yesterday, and Bosco punches him in the nose
And it's no longer
and wins.
And it's not like shocker. I mean,
No.
that's what kind of talent we're talking about on the high school level in New Jersey, right?
On any given Saturday.
Any given Sunday or Saturday, you're right.
Right.
And it's
So-
awesome football, though. It really is great football.
Yeah.
And, so let's move on to the NFL, right?
Sure.
The professional league, as they call it.
They
right?
do.
And this segment, of course, is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. Loyal supporter of the show, big fan of high school football, and they're disappointed. Connecticut was shut down, like you said, in high school football. But let's move on to the pros.
Okay. I'm thrilled, though, today that the Dallas Cowboys are got a bye.
Bye week?
Won't lose today.
Okay.
Won't be embarrassed today. I'm sure,
Ben DiNucci, what's he doing today?
Well,
you
yeah,
think?
Connor and Garrett Gilbert and Connor Rush and Ben. I'm sure they're in a QB meeting. Right
Cooper
now.
Rush.
Cooper Rush. Trust me, I know. But
Intentional muffing of the name, right?
that was my point.
Yep.
So they won't lose today, but.
Giants big game today.
Giants
in the
big
NFC
game
East,
today against the Eagles. Capacity crowd of about 14 people will be there.
There's 20,000 cutouts, right?
Sure.
Of hooligans
Absolutely. Free hot dogs and everything for everybody. Beers are only $2.
and even though there's no fans in Philadelphia, the court system, that they have in house will be Judge Jerry working.
But yeah, I remember I went to an Eagle Cowboy game. Oh God, a Monday nighter. God, it has to be 15 years now, 20 maybe. And I swear to God, that was I believe the court opened up that Monday night due to the hooliganism over the past decades of Eagle fans.
But could be arraigned at the game, actually.
Right. I mean, the city of Philadelphia, I love it. But the people, but the sports fans of Philly are the biggest assholes, bar none. and you and I went to a Ranger Flyer game with our brother Mark, who wore glasses, and
a Rangers jersey.
and he
It was
went
the
to
worst thing you could
he had
do.
to go relieve himself in the men's room, and he came back to the seat. Sans glasses.
Well, I was involved in that episode.
That's
by the
right.
Way,
But the credit of the late Ed Snyder, the owner of the Philadelphia Flyers,
couldn't have been more gracious to me, and I'm telling you,
yeah,
it was awesome.
and I believe he gave you free ducats and stuff,
And
the
paid for
following
Mark's glasses
Correct,
repair.
correct,
actually, so.
correct.
But yeah, so
year. Eagles Giants doesn't have the same blue collar feel that a normal Eagle Giant game would
Well,
have.
okay.
But it's a division game,
and
again.
it's happening. And
Right.
as feeble as the NFC East has been,
Yeah.
it's still a meaningful game.
Sure is.
So
Golden Tate's back for the Giants. What do you think of Golden's behavior the past week? I was surprised.
I talked about it yesterday. You're right, and even he came out with an apology saying, I crossed the line. It was crazy. This is kind of a Michael Irvin thing rather than a Golden Tate and Notre Dame and the whole thing.
I had a little Odell feel to it, but
Yeah.
Golden Tate has always carried himself. I can, you know what? I'm going to give him a pass. I think it's really his first faux pas, if you will. He's been in the league a long time. He's always carried himself with dignity and grace. So let's see. I just hope it's not a trend or for him. I don't know. Maybe he wants to get out of New York.
Hey, you want to step out of line in the Giants? You have to face the judge.
Well, I tell you what, that
right, Joe Judge.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Judge handled himself great in this, and I think he established credibility as a no-nonsense guy. And,
Yep, I agree.
He did the right thing.
So I'm going to give you my two picks. This is our Locks of the Week segment, of course.
Your locks of the week, because there is no such thing as a lock.
Exactly. Not in the NFL, that's for sure.
Not in anything.
But I'm taking the Giants over Philly today. I think Daniel Jones is going to come up. No, that's not a reach. I'm not goofing around about that. I think,
Okay.
No, they've had a tough time in Philadelphia, but I'm starting to lose faith in Carson Wentz.
Are you?
That's why I'm going with the Giants today. And my second pick, and I know this may catch you off guard because I've been a Jared Goff fan,
Yeah,
but Russell Wilson, they got beat by Buffalo last week.
they did.
He's going to bounce back, and they're going to win on the road.
And
Those
where-
are my two locks.
And where are the Rams playing?
Los Angeles, right?
And who are they playing?
Seahawks.
And you're going lock with Goff versus the Seahawks. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm going Russell Wilson over the Rams.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Over the
I
Rams.
thought you were.
No.
Okay. I needed to clarify that.
Okay. Well, those are my two locks.
My two picks that I feel good about. I'm actually starting to buy stock in the Las Vegas Raiders.
You know what?
They're 5-3.
It's
I'm
funny you
really
said that.
impressed with this Josh Jacobs. I think the running game is looking good. Derek Carr's had a nice year so far. I'm a fan of him. I get it. Some people may not be, but I think he's underrated.
I've been trying not to kick him to the curb,
but they're playing Denver.
Denver's horrible.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say I'm buying Raiders stock. I like the Raiders today.
I agree.
3.5 spread.
I
on
actually
that.
agree with you.
And then the other pick that I like today is Baltimore over New England. I think New England will fall to 3-6. I think Lamar Jackson will have a big day.
He's due for a big day.
It could be close. I don't know, but
It's not the Patriots
I
team,
love
you know.
the fact that New England is wallowing right now. Loving every minute of it.
You know what? That's a prevailing feeling.
is
Everybody
for me.
hates
I
the,
only
everybody
speak
hates
for
the
myself.
Patriots because they're successful. It drives me crazy.
No, I hate the Patriots. I've always hated the Patriots.
But you didn't respect Tom Brady's tenure there, and
I'm
Belichick is
going-
one of the
I'm
greatest
going
Vince
back to-
Lombardi
I'm-
type coaches.
I'm going back to Pencil Neck Grogan. Steve Grogan days.
I remember that. Number 14? Steve Grogan?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm too young to remember Jim Plunkett.
I'm not. I remember Jim Plunkett.
as a Patriot, right?
Rookie
but-
of the year.
Yeah,
Rookie of the year.
yeah,
Heisman Trophy winner.
yes.
Yep.
2-time Super Bowl champion,
Yep.
Hall of Famer Nixon.
Right. Very
Not
good.
even having the discussion.
No, of course not. But he's got 2 rings, right?
Absolutely.
He's got 2 rings.
Absolutely. One of the most unorthodox throwing quarterbacks. But I tell you what, Jim Plunkett was a really, really good quarterback.
Oh, big time.
Right.
Big time.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't, didn't get blessed with the good looks of Joe Namath, but, if he did.
I think his mother or something was blind or something like
Yeah.
that.
Good
but
story.
Jim Plunkett is a good man. And but my point is, a lot of people don't know that. He was drafted by the New England Patriots originally.
I know.
Well, we know that. So
Stanford guy.
it's a Stanford man.
So listen, let's see what happens with the NFL today.
So I like those two.
I got one other thing.
Wait, I wanted to just.
Go ahead.
I had a thought. So Big Ben is playing. It's been a week of COVID for Big Ben. Test positive. And again, this is like the Saban thing we talked about.
We got it. Yeah.
Fourth, but whatever.
Tuesday he had it, Wednesday he didn't.
Right. But they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals today. Could this be a trap game? Pittsburgh is 8-0.
No.
And Cincinnati, I'm just saying, could this be a trap game? And I say, of course, it's Cincinnati. And
Book it,
and
Dano.
and all reason says absolutely not. However, I'm just saying, I wanted to go on record. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati pulls it up.
Okay, and I'm
That's
saying
all.
that's not going to happen.
No, I would say
Not gonna happen.
I would say there's a 95% chance that's not going to happen. But I just wanted to go on record. Should it happen?
Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk about, real quick, Steve, Major League Baseball. I mean, we know the season's over. The Asterisks have been in there. But Shane Bieber wins the Cy Young. Freddie Freeman, MVP over Mookie Betts.
Yeah, I was
What do you think of
I
that?
was a little surprised by that, to be honest with you. But Freddie Freeman is deserving. I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah, I
but
like him, too.
I think, Mookie Betts. I was actually surprised. I'll say. I just expected. I thought that was.
He'll get another chance.
Of course he will. But I just think it was a foregone conclusion that Mookie Betts was going to win that. But, and again, you have to remember Freddie Freeman had this COVID shit for before the season started, and it wasn't like a 14-day sit in your recliner 2-week stretch. I mean, Freddie Freeman was really sick with this, and they were very concerned about him. I mean, like, real concerned. So I think he was sick for about 20-something days. But I'm going to say about 10 of those days were really touch and go for him. So I'm happy that Freddie Freeman won it. He is... I don't think he's very underrated anymore. If you watch Freddie Freeman... he's a big kid, lefty, great stick, great glove.
Oh, absolutely.
And really, he's a good guy too. So Atlanta, I tell you what, they really
They got a bright future.
They got a very bright future.
question.
Their farm system, they drafted Danby Swanson. They obviously when you get the number 1 overall pick, which is probably now 4 or 5 years at least. Yep. But Swanson is one of those number 1 overall picks that's panning out. And he's a key figure. He's played shortstop, and he's on the rise, and he's an integral part of Atlanta. But their pitching staff is outstanding.
I know.
And Atlanta's going to make a lot of noise. And we talked about.
And I know this was an asterisk season, but it was actually good baseball.
No, but we
It was fun
talked
to
about
watch.
the Mets last week, and with the new owner and so on and so forth. So I think Atlanta and the Mets is going to be a really good rivalry, which it typically is. But I think the talent level on both teams in the coming years is going to be outstanding.
And I wanted to bring that up because I watched actually the Steve Cohen press conference.
Right.
And I was, I don't know a lot about him. I don't know.
No,
I know he's
we'll
a
know everything
gazillionaire
about him.
kind of thing. But the press conference was actually awesome. And he had Sandy Alderson on it, and he was talking about it, but it was... Met fans should feel good about having this guy as your owner.
I have been saying this for months.
But I couldn't have been more impressed by his press conference. Either he's got a great PR guy or that's really how he feels, and he's expecting to bring a World Series to the Mets within 3 to 4 years.
Jeff Wilpon to this. It doesn't... right? It couldn't be any more stark.
But I can't tell you how impressed I was by the press conference with Sandy Alderson and so forth.
I'm telling
it was
you,
awesome.
the New York Mets may exceed the Yankees in popularity in New York in the coming years.
And you brought it up. There's not going to be any, Cespedes kind of signings
No.
by the Mets or
No.
the Jed Lowrys, that kind of thing.
not at all.
This guy wants to win. He grew up as a Met fan.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
But you hit it right on the head. There'll be no more Cespedes type of players coming through the door, the clubhouse door for the Mets. Listen, if the guy's a super talented, of course there's exceptions to the rule. But
Yeah, you
then
get
of
them
course,
early.
then they let them hang hang themselves, and then out the door they'll go. But character is, I think, especially with Sandy Alderson, an ex-military guy, and obviously he's got a good resume. Now, let's just jump back a little bit to Tony La Russa that we talked about, was in the news last week.
The new Chicago White Sox manager.
Yeah, Tony, had a little, run in behind the wheel.
I guess Uber wasn't working that night.
Well,
right?
Tony apparently had some lunch with some former executives at a little round table in Arizona. And,
a little too much wine in the Marsala,
what
I
are you
guess.
kidding? How many martinis?
He may not survive this. They may have to refire him, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
He'll survive.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tony, one more incident, I swear to God.
Now, listen, before we wrap up our show, we're going to mention the NBA, and I'm going to give it to you in one sentence. Westbrook wants to be traded, and Harden and the Rockets.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's
I can
beyond.
give you a sentence. I don't care.
$40 million a year, and these guys think,
They can get traded.
Trade me.
Whatever.
Westbrook to the Knicks. I could see it happening.
I'm signing up for season tickets tomorrow if that happens.
Right. If they bring up Jeremy Lin, bring him back with Westbrook, they got three
Now you're talking.
NBA titles.
Right. Well, we got Mike D'Antoni's back in New York. Did you see that?
Assistant coach.
Yes, with the
right.
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Under Steve Nash, his prized pupil in Phoenix. I think that's a good move.
White privilege.
It's a good move. Real good move. Also, let's be real, Mike D'Antoni was not going to get another head coaching job. So
He's only had 9.
Right, but the point is, he is basically the head coach without the title, but he's going to go with, Irving and Durant.
I know, but I was joking about, Westbrook to the Knicks.
Yeah.
And you think, Dolan may want it, but Thibodeau's going to say, I'm a basketball coach.
Listen,
this is ridiculous.
The Knicks are being run by Leon Rose. Okay? This guy has a very good reputation. Listen,
he's
he
got
is
a great
not.
resume,
Don't get
but-
me wrong. He hasn't led an NBA franchise, but in circles, this guy knows talent, and he has the ability to attract the talent.
Well, we'll see.
That being said, I think he's.
People want to spend money to see this kind of nonsense.
My point is, he's the type of guy that's going to tell Dolan, stay the hell out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And if he doesn't,
but he's an owner
He's
that-
gonna do what Donnie Walsh did. I'm out of here. Are you kidding me?
Or Phil Jackson.
Donnie Walsh wanted no part of Carmelo Anthony. No part of it. And Dolan wanted him. And guess what? Here we are, right?
I guess.
And Donnie Walsh couldn't have had a better resume. Don't get me wrong, he never won anything with Indiana, but he got him pretty damn close with Reggie Miller and so on and so forth.
Very close. Yeah,
Right.
A couple times. Yeah.
But a basketball guy.
I got
So
you.
let the basketball guys pick the talent,
right.
and we'll see what happens. But I can't see the Knicks giving assets away just to get an ego trip with
No, but that's exactly what I can see. Them taking Westbrook's $40 million
I
contract.
could have seen that prior to this administration.
No, I think it's still going to be the same.
No,
I think
I
anything's going to
disagree.
change.
I think they finally have the right people in place. It's going to still take 4 or 5 years to put the pieces together, But I'm going to say I think the right guys are
All right,
open.
well, that's enough of the NBA. They're going to start December 22nd, a
They
little
are?
earlier than everybody
Cool.
wanted to.
Outstanding.
So we get
How's
our,
J.R. Smith's off season going?
and we get our Christmas spectacular with the NBA quadruple header. That's what they're going for. And like you said, Adam Silver, marketing
Nothing
genius.
better than opening presents and then go sitting down and watching NBA basketball from noon until midnight.
And listen, Steve, before we move on to our notables, I just wanted to bring up the Breeders' Cup was last weekend,
Yeah.
right? And I had Improbable, but I liked Authentic and Tiz the Law, and it was Authentic and Tiz the Law down the stretch, and Authentic held off. Great race, unbelievable. But I did also
Well, you had a
mention,
good day at the
I
at
did
the
mention
track.
throw a sawbuck on
You did.
Global Campaign,
and hopefully some of
listeners
our
did.
audience made a couple dollars.
But that was a great race, though. Authentic from start to finish, man. And that's rare in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
But it was exciting. It was great.
Yeah. But horse racing is pretty much done now for
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Until whatever.
the
comes
first
up.
Saturday in May, 2021.
What are you doing? What are you kidding me? Yeah. But it was great. Horse racing was awesome, and the Breeders' Cup was a great race.
That's
Beautiful.
standing.
So listen, our notable passings. This is our final segment.
Yes.
And I guess we start off with Alex Trebek.
Oh, we absolutely.
Alex was a
starting off.
game show host. He hosted a show called Jeopardy,
That is correct.
right? Brave fight and pancreatic cancer, which nobody beats, by
Hey,
the
listen,
way.
Alex Trebek has been a fixture in the living room at 7 o'clock p.m. right since what, the early 80s? Probably.
84, I think.
Something along
like that.
those lines,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And Alex Trebek was just a class guy, carried himself great gig. I mean, Jeopardy. Canadian.
Yep.
And made a nice buck doing it, and was well respected and liked by.
Used to host
by many.
Concentration
That is
and
correct.
every other game show.
Absolutely, Alex
Yeah.
Trebek was a game show host prior.
Yep.
And obviously the news. I think it was a year and a half ago he got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and to his credit, he lasted a lot longer than the average Joe did.
He did. He
But
did.
we knew it was inevitable, and he's going to be on. I guess he taped Enough in the Bank. I believe Christmas. I'm hearing like in and around Christmas will be.
I think the week
last
before
show.
Christmas is his
Will
last
be
show.
his last show. So,
But notable. When we talk about notables, big time.
but I tell you what, one of our loyal listeners, Mr. James Walsh, I give him credit because unless if I come up with it, I don't like to take the credit. But if I hear something, I always give the credit. So we were talking about this, and we were saying who could be a possible replacement.
Betty White.
Ken Jennings. Maybe. I said, I think that's viable.
He's
I
a
really
genius,
do.
but doesn't have the personality.
I
don't
think he does.
He's the producer now of Jeopardy.
That's my
but-
point. I wouldn't be surprised if Ken Jennings. I mean, obviously he's going to fumble going early, but who knows Jeopardy better than Ken Jennings? And he's the all-time champ. But I just thrown that out there. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I just said that's a very good.
Well,
very
we'd like to
good,
hear from our audience.
guess.
Send us an email at sportswithmano@gmail.com.
Won't be Tom Kennedy. You won't be seeing Tom Kennedy no more. That was a notable passing a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to give you a good trivia.
I think we forgot about Tom Kennedy.
I think we mentioned it.
Yeah.
But his brother was Jack Nars, by the way, who was another game show host.
Sure.
They were brothers. I didn't know that.
I always thought Wink Martindale and Tom Kennedy looked like. I thought they were brothers.
Yes, actually, good call.
Right? Tom Kennedy had the darkened glasses. That was the only difference.
Absolutely, shades, the Harley glasses.
Totally.
Doing game shows. But listen, R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
Alex
It was-
Trebek, absolutely.
We love Jeopardy. It was awesome.
Yeah, so R.I.P. Alex Trebek.
Our next notable passing, Tommy Heinsohn. And now we're back to sports rather than game shows, but we loved him.
Tommy Heinsohn is one of my all-time favorite sports figures.
Me too.
We knew
We used to watch him coach the Boston Celtics when we were,
with JoJo
14.
White and the Celtic teams with Havlicek and
Ranting and raving on the
Cowens,
sidelines.
Havlicek, JoJo White,
Exactly.
those guys,
Dennis
right?
Johnson.
Right, but Tommy Heinsohn, oh my God! And so again, the audience knows, a lot of them know I went to Boston University, so
You do?
So it became even more knowledgeable about the Celtics, if you will.
Yep.
And Tommy Heinsohn, as a player,
Won 8 rings.
oh my God,
Eight
and,
rings.
and as coach of the Celtics, you talk about credibility, and his personality was such that beloved
By the
figure.
Boston crowd.
Beloved. And
We're
beloved,
Jersey guys and we love
and
them.
beloved by us. And then Tommy Heinsohn, of course, broadcasting, right?
Yep.
I mean, how many games did we listen to Tommy Heinsohn? He's
1,000.
He's like Hubie Brown to us,
Yep.
right? We
Exactly.
We
Good-
love
good
Hubie.
parallel
We
right
love
there.
Hubie, but Tommy Heinsohn was the color guy on 1,000 games we must have heard, right?
Yep.
And probably more. But I was very sad to hear
Me too.
that Tommy Heinsohn passed away.
But what a resume he had!
Oh,
I mean, as a
outstanding.
player, 8 rings as a player. He's in as a broadcaster and as a player. I mean, that's unbelievable.
And the coach, man, this guy was just
He was awesome.
R.I.P.
Big time.
Mr. Tommy Heinsohn.
2 thumbs up from Sports with Mono and Mono and Tommy Heinsohn.
Again,
you know.
one of my, and I speak for you, one of our all-time favorite sports icons.
No question about it.
Correct.
And our final, notable passing, and this one rings true to the Monahans, right? The Golden Boy,
The Golden Boy.
Paul Hornung,
That is correct.
and
It's only 2 days now or so.
yeah, but you're a sports people and so forth. He was awesome. He was just awesome.
He was the Golden Boy.
He was the Golden Boy
What better nickname to have than the Golden Boy?
from Notre Dame
Well, I
right
mean-
to the Packers and Vince's boy.
How about we be quiet for about 5 seconds and let the audience sit there and contemplate it? How would you like to be called the Golden Boy?
The Golden Boy? Yeah, I'll go with that. Heisman Trophy. Notre Dame.
I made
Super
I made
Bowl.
a joke to somebody. I said, I got to think that Hornick probably came in second behind Will Chamberlain. And-
What, in Conquest?
In Conquest. So I'm sure the Golden Boy slowed down a little bit
Right.
in the last
Hey,
decade.
7,500's not a bad record. That's when you're happy to come in second.
Absolutely. But Hornick is absolutely in the top 5 all time in that category.
And Steve, I'm gonna give you the mic and say how close to the Monahans
Oh, well, sure.
Paul Hornung was.
Well, Paul Hornick is Kentucky's
Kentucky's
Golden
own.
Boy.
Yeah.
Kentucky's own. Raised in Louisville, and he's a beloved figure in Kentucky. So went to Notre Dame, won the Heisman Trophy. Paul Hornick is the only player to win the Heisman Trophy from a losing team.
Right.
And Notre Dame was 2-8. But he's also, and a lot of people may find this surprising, he's considered the best all-around football player to ever come through Notre Dame. And obviously there's more, when you think of Notre Dame, like a Tim Brown or something like that.
Of course.
Right?
Open for discussion.
Totally.
We get it.
My point is, he could run, he could throw, he could kick, he could block, he could return. That's what I mean all around. So Paul Hornick, fantastic career, then gets drafted by Green Bay.
Yep.
And what I was thinking more about Vince Lombardi for a little bit. I had a moment where I was thinking of maybe more about Vince Lombardi for a little while, thinking of Hornick, thinking about Vince Lombardi and his eye for talent, and selecting Hornick as one of these key elements of what Green Bay became, like a Bart Starr.
This is what I need.
Like a Bart Starr, the Kramer, the Taylor, a Hornick, a
You're
Willie
right.
Davis type of player.
Herb Adderley,
Nitschke, that type of thing.
Yep.
So I said to myself, obviously Lombardi saw something in Hornick. Now Hornick was not like a Barry Sanders. He wasn't like
No.
a Gale Sayers. He wasn't like, he was a damn good football player, right?
Yep.
And there's these iconic photos of him. He's number 5 on the Green Bay Packers. There's an iconic photo of him
Right.
with the rain jacket, things like that.
Green
but we
Bay
also
sweep.
remember Paul Hornung after his career. He won 4 titles, I believe, with Green Bay, and it was also part of the first Super Bowl team. I mean, he was shot at that point.
Suspended for a year for gambling and
big
so forth.
boozer, the whole womanizer,
Playboy.
the golden boy.
He was Hugh Hefner with
Right, but he
Notre
was,
Dame.
and he was another guy that ventured into broadcasting. This is Lindsey Nelson with Paul Hornung, right? But a real Kevin Bacon thing.
bet.
Our father and our brother Tom actually had the privilege of meeting Paul Hornung, and they got to have a few beers and have a great session with him.
And they said he was as cool as you would have
Totally.
thought he was, and classy and awesome.
Yeah,
You're
and,
right.
So I heard the news Paul Hornung passed away, and
Yep.
again, he's another iconic,
Big time.
sports figure. And I tell you, 2020, as bad as it's been some year for iconic figures. We talked about the baseball, the Gibsons and the Fords, and
Seavers
the Seavers
and what? Yep,
and
you're right.
Sayers, and
Yep.
Paul Hornung, and on and on. So,
But he belongs in that class.
Oh, R.I.P. Paul Hornung.
We loved him.
Well
you know,
done.
No doubt.
Well done.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
R.I.P. Golden boy.
Golden boy.
But listen, thanks for joining us, everybody. And, we're happy to join you every week and so forth. But please send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. And I wanted to bring up, I met a new fan, Warren Carter. I met him last week and so forth, and out of the blue, but he listened to the show. He's a big fan of it. And
Very good. Well,
that's
thank
what
you, Warren.
That's what we want to talk about, right? Just keep coming back,
That's it.
Every week we got something else going on, and enjoy your Masters Sunday.
Absolutely.
Steve. You know,
Enjoy Masters Sunday, NFL football, and relax, and we'll catch up to you next week.
right? Because Monday's just
Yeah,
A day
I'm gonna
away.
be blinking. I'll be back to work.
enjoy,
Right
guys.
now.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend.
You too.